BlockFlash from Mordernet Solutions is a patented flashing system for single-wise CMU construction. BlockFlash is available for use with 6-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch, and 12-inch CMU. At the 2010 World of Concrete trade show, and in millions of feet installed since then, we proved that the typical installation time for BlockFlash is much faster than conventional peel and stick membrane step flashing. At our outdoor exhibit, we built foundations for two 8-inch single-wide CMU walls of equal length in accordance with standard step flashing construction procedures. One mason came to the site on day one of the contest and laid up a 4-inch backup course on the step flashing wall foundation. Due to improperly positioned rebar, the mason had to cut and remove a section of a block to complete the backup wall. This is a common occurrence in the field and is another factor that slows down step flashing installation. With this type of flashing, it's necessary to let the mortar set up on the backup course for at least 4 hours, and preferably overnight before the next phase of the installation, and that can delay construction.
Well, that's basically what normally we do. Lay the petition block on it, let it rest for a little bit, and then next day we come back and put the flashing on.
Good. Well, we'll see you tomorrow when you come and finish putting in the step flashing.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
That's fine.
Total construction time for the backup wall, 8 minutes and 47 seconds. The BlockFlash wall doesn't use 4-inch block and required no preparation on the first day. On the second day of the contest, 2 masons arrived to continue the step flashing installation. Our contest was designed to duplicate actual field conditions, and because it's next to impossible for a single worker to handle peel and stick flashing, 2 workers were needed for the next phase of the step flashing installation. As is required by all peel and stick membrane manufacturers, the masons applied a primer to the backup block and foundation. Unfortunately, this step is often omitted in the field, even though priming the blocks is necessary to ensure that the membrane adheres to the wall properly. Next, they measured and cut the flashing to fit the wall, including cutting holes for the rebar. Once the membrane was cut, they dry fit it to the wall to make sure the holes aligned properly with the rebar. Next, they removed the release paper, lifted the membrane over the rebar, and carefully applied the membrane to the foundation and backup wall. You can see how time-consuming this process is on a short wall in a clean environment under ideal weather conditions. Imagine how difficult it would be on a dirty construction site in a strong wind with a longer piece of membrane. And if parts of the sticky side of the membrane accidentally touch, they can't be separated. The membrane would have to be discarded and the masons would have to cut a new piece, making the step flashing installation process even longer. Once the membrane was installed, the masons sealed around the openings for the rebar using both flexible sealant and grout. Next, they laid a course of 4-inch architectural face block on top of the membrane. Notice that the membrane completely covers the foundation and the top of the block backup wall, which makes the step flashing a complete bond breaker. What's more, because the 4-inch face block is manufactured in a different production run than the 8-inch block used in the rest of the wall, block manufacturers may charge hundreds of dollars extra for the 4-inch mold change. It's also very common for the colors of the 4-inch and 8-inch blocks to be noticeably different from each other. This color difference can result in a highly visible horizontal color band wherever the 4-inch block is installed. During this process, the masons had to cut a notch in the back of one of the blocks to allow it to fit around another improperly installed rebar. A weep was included in the installation to allow a way for water to exit the wall. Finally, the masons tooled the joints to complete the job. Total installation time, 18 minutes, 31 seconds times 2 men. So the total labor time to install a traditional step flashing membrane and finish the first block course was 45 minutes and 48 seconds. Compare that to the BlockFlash installation, which required only 1 mason. The mason simply placed the BlockFlash pans so they aligned with the face of the first course of block. No primer or adhesive was required. He used the built-in alignment lip on the underside of each weep spout to quickly and easily position each spout so they automatically extended slightly beyond the face of the block. BlockFlash's built-in connector bridges Cover the space between pans and channel moisture onto the sloped flashing pans on either side and into the weeps. Each bridge is pre-scored, so when the mason came to a cell with rebar, he simply broke off the bridge and installed the pan on either side of that cell. The same procedure is used when installing BlockFlash at the end of the wall or at a corner. Next, the mason laid a mortar bed over the edges of the BlockFlash pans and then laid a course of 8-inch block over the BlockFlash pans. Since using BlockFlash means the mason can use full-sized 8-inch block for the first course, he didn't have to waste time cutting block to fit around the rebar. There were no additional expenses for a mold change for the 4-inch block, and there were no worries about the color of the first course matching the courses above it. Remember how the step flashing membrane broke the mortar bond? BlockFlash allows the mortar to contact the front and rear edges of each block for a solid bond, giving it a flexural bond strength that is 10 times stronger than through-wall step flashing. Once the first course of block was laid, the mason pushed a mesh drainage mat into each cell. A drainage mat is included for every BlockFlash pan. The mats prevent mortar droppings from clogging the weeps, so water quickly and easily migrates to the built-in weep spouts and out of the building. Factory-installed mesh bug guards in the weep spouts prevent insects and debris from entering the block cells. The mason tooled the joints and the BlockFlash installation was complete. The total labor time for the BlockFlash installation, 12 minutes and 10 seconds, nearly 4 times faster than the almost 46 minutes of labor time it took for the traditional step flashing installation. And unlike step flashing, BlockFlash ensured that mortar droppings wouldn't allow water to build up inside the wall. Here's proof. Even when we poured water directly into the mortar-filled cells of our test wall, it immediately ran through the open mesh down to the sloped pans and out of the weep spouts. As you can see from this comparison test, BlockFlash is much faster to install than traditional step flashing, whether it's installed in 6-inch, 8-inch, 10-inch, or 12-inch CMU walls. It requires only one mason, produces a flexural bond strength that's 10 times greater than a step flashing wall, and prevents water buildup in single-wide walls. The result is significant time and cost savings and stronger, drier buildings. For a free BlockFlash sample, email samples@mortarnet.com or call 219-850-4509. For technical assistance, contact Stephen Fechino, Engineering and Construction Manager, at sfechino@mortarnet.com or 219-850-4514. To download installation instructions and technical data sheets, please visit mortarnet.com or call 800-664-6638.